Hi everyone, it's Helen here and thank you for joining me today. Now today is day one of my new spring series. That's 7 videos back to back with some lovely spring themed and Easter themed projects. Now we're going to be starting off with a 4x4 card today using this Hydrangea, and I'm going to be showing you how to make that lovely watercolour effect on the flowers here. Okay, so I'm going to quickly show you where I got the stamp set from. It's from Simply Cards and Papercraft, so it's a free stamp set. It's from issue 160, so it's not on the shelves at the moment, but you can order your copy from moremags.com and the link will be down below. That will take you straight to the page where you can order this set. So here's the stamp set here, and I've used this Hydrangea here, and I've taken the sentiments from this set down here. And you also get a stencil here if you're into stenciling and mixed media, and you also get a butterfly and flower embossing folder as well, so that will make some lovely borders on your cards. Okay, so let's get on to making our card. So here we are. You're going to need a piece of cardstock here. I believe this one is Tip Top Taupe, and this one's from Stamping Up, and it measures 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And a little bit of card here for this sentiment there, and that measures 3/4 of an inch by 2.5 inches. So we're just going to set those aside at the moment. And you'll also need some watercolour paper, and I was really lazy and I buy my cards just for this one. So I'm going to be using my handmade stamping tool for this. Just as it's watercolour paper, I may have to stamp twice because it's a little bit on the rough side. So I'm just going to ink it up with Versamark. And I'm also going to use my embossing buddy as well. That's anti-static tool if you didn't know what that was. So I'm going to just do this twice, give it a good pressing down in the middle. Okay, I'm going to get my powder ready as well. There we go, that's given us a lovely imprint there. Okay, let's quickly put this away. I'm going to put the video on pause now while I preheat my heat tool, just so that will speed up the process and warp the paper less. Okay, I'm all preheated. Okay, so now we're just going to let that cool down very slightly. So it's quite hard to see there because it's white on white, but that's all ready to go. So you're going to need a paintbrush, or if you have an aqua painter like this one, you can use one of those. I'm just going to use a paintbrush and some water. And the colours I used for this one are Wisteria Wonder and Perfect Plum. Those ones are from Stampin' Up. And the greens I've used are Pear Pizzazz and Garden Green. So we're going to start off with our Wisteria Wonder. So just press your ink pad lid together like so, or you can press it down on a piece of plastic or cellophane. So we're going to start off by, I'm going to zoom in actually a little bit, just so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to start off by wetting the area that we're going to be applying the colour. So as this is watercolour paper, this is absolutely perfect for this technique. Okay, and then we're just going to add some water to our palette and then just tap it on in places, and you'll see it grow into different areas. Okay, I'm just going to add some darker colours now. Okay, this will look completely different once it's dry as well. So I'm just going to move on to the next section. There we go. And while that's still wet, I'm going to add some of the Perfect Plum. I'm just trying to get this towards the centre of the flowers now. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to add a little bit more water just to lighten some areas, and then I'm going to get my heat tool out again, and then I'm going to set and dry that colour. So then I'll move on to the leaves next. Okay, you can see it's already starting to take shape there. Moving on to the green. Start off with the lighter colour. This one's Pear Pizzazz. And we're going to do exactly the same technique. Just going to wet the area. And we're going to go all over with the green. You can see this one better because it's a larger area now. I'm just going to do the same with all of the leaves. I now have green water in my paintbrush, so okay, so now we're going to move on to the darker colour just after we've done. Don't want to forget the stems. So yeah, moving on to the garden green now. I'm only going to put a very slight amount on here because it's going to spread through quite well. So I just want darker areas here to go underneath where the flowers would be, just to create some shadows. So it'd be quite dark under this section here and under here as well. Okay, so I think that's it for watercolouring. So I'm going to let that dry off, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my little snips and I'm going to trim this out so I have it all trimmed out there with a nice white border around the edge. So I'll be back in one moment. Okay, so it's all cut out and we're on the home run now, so we're just going to do our sentiment. So quickly grab my tiny piece of paper. We're going to heat emboss. We're going to heat emboss this, so we're going to use our embossing buddy. Grab our Versamark, and I've already mounted the happy birthday. Oops, and the birthday's come off. It's a good sign that you need to wash your stamps when they start to come off your blocks. So hope that's straight. If it's not straight, I'll just have to redo it. There we go. Just got to grab a dry paintbrush because I went over the edge there. Let's get that excess off. Okay, I'm going to need some tweezers for this because I don't want to burn my fingers. Okay, I've found them. Okay, so now what I have here is the Stampin' Chalk marker, so it's basically a white pen. I'm just going to draw around the borders. So this pen basically will show up better on black cardstock, so it's just giving us a slight hint of the white. Okay, so that's that one done, and then I'm going to go around and do the whole border around here. Okay, so now it's time to assemble our card together, and I've used dimensionals to get some of those popping up. So just grab mine. There we go, and I've also used a tape runner as well, just to get the mat down on our cardstock. So I have my envelope there. Grab the bone folder. Okay, so I've cut this cardstock so that it will have an 1/8 of an inch border around the card. So now we just stick our dimensionals in random places. Well, not really random, but strategically random. I think that will do. Okay, so what I want is for some of these edges here, just like in this card, to come off the edge of this mat here. It just creates a little bit of extra interest and adds to the effect of the layering. So I've got that down there, and then some more dimensionals across here. Get that stuck down. I might make that a bit lower. Okay, so there we have it. Two lovely Hydrangea birthday cards. This one's slightly lighter, so I may add some more purple. You can keep going back to it and adding more colour as each layer dries. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's project. The details for all this information will be down in my blog, so the link will be down below, and I hope you'll join me for tomorrow's video.